Joe in Hamilton, Alabama. Hey, Joe, what's up?
Hey, Tom, let me turn this off speakerphone.
Thank you.
I was calling about the VP also because it made me get up and call when he said what he was saying because it didn't make sense. And you are absolutely right about what you was trying to tell him. Another point, I live in a very rural area. I have to drive 6 miles to get internet. There's a lot of people like me, a lot of people in the middle of the country, the ones who voted for Trump, because they don't get internet service. I know that's hard to believe. Everybody on the East Coast, West Coast gets it. But I was wondering if it would be possible for your show to run a crawler with all these names of representatives and whoever we need to call. Think about that. There's a lot of people out there like me that don't know how to get a hold of these people because I don't have internet.
Yeah. Well, Joe, do you have a pen and paper? Let me give you a phone number.
Yeah, right here. Go ahead.
Okay. It's 202-224-3121. That's the main switchboard for Congress here in Washington, D.C. And that number, you can call that number, and if you don't know the name of your member of the U.S. House of Representatives, just give me your zip code, and they will connect you to that person's office. I mean, they won't even, you can ask them for the direct number, but they'll just simply connect you. And of course, you're in Alabama. You've got 2 senators, Jeff Sessions, and I'm not sure who's the one. Shelby is the other?
Yes.
Yeah, and you can connect yourself to their offices also that way. So if you want to contact them. With regard to your local officials, it's a little more problematic. You have to, but that should be in the phone book.
Yeah, and if you would, like I said, maybe give this number out. You know.
Yeah, I do it a lot, and I'll do it even more. It's a good point, Joe. And also with regard to the fact that much of America doesn't have access to internet or to internet of a reasonable enough speed that it's useful.
Right.
We need, I mean, you know, we had this problem with telephone service. We first had this problem with electric service back in the 19-teens and the 1920s when we were electrifying the cities, but the rural areas had no electricity. And so when Franklin Roosevelt came in as part of, his program to put America back to work, he created the Rural Electrification Administration, the REA, which went out and, where companies saw no profit in running long lines of, to bring electricity out to farmhouses and things. Right. He said, the government will do that. We'll pay for that. We'll get electricity. And so we got everybody electrified. And then in the 1940s and the 1950s, it was the same thing. AT&T was, the monopoly telephone company in the United States, and they refused to take telephone service to people in rural areas. And so we created the Rural Telephony Administration, the RTA, and I think that was Eisenhower. I could be wrong. It might have been Harry Truman. But, that was in the late 40s, early 50s, the RTA. And I think we need an RIA, a Rural Internet Administration right now. We need to be off. The Internet is our new information commons. It's the new public library. And we should be driving this. And other countries are doing this, by the way. There's nobody in South Korea who doesn't have internet that is faster than anything you or I can get. There's nobody in any Western European country who doesn't have access to extremely high-speed internet at generally at least half the cost of what we pay here in the United States. And
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Joe.
There's a whole slew of people in these rural communities. All the information they get is just from the TV. And that's corrupt to begin with.
Well, and in fact, I'm going to do my next hour on that. We're going to get to that in just a minute because, so, Joe, thanks a lot for the call. It's great to hear from you.